what is success? Okay. And before you guys answer that, I know many of you can give me the answer that's in Your Wish is Your Command, for example, for those of you who have listened to Your Wish is Your Command. And for those of you who have not listened to Your Wish is Your Command, ask the person who invites you into this group of what the hell that is and listen to it. Okay. It's like a must listen. Okay. And you'll see why. They can explain to you why. Because obviously then you'll be on the same page with all of us in a conversation like this, knowing what we're talking about. But in Your Wish is Your Command, they take the definition from other places, right? And they give that definition. I know many of you can give that. But so when I'm asking you what success is, I'm not asking you what's the right answer, what's the definition. I'm asking you to really look at it and like challenge your conception of it. Even if you took the definition from somebody else or whatever it is, like what is success? And I know in Your Wish is Your Command, they talk about it being the progression of a dream, like the realization of it, that process of achieving something. So in other words, they're redefining it from, okay, I've got $1 million in my bank account, therefore I am successful, to, okay, let's shift it from this static goal to I'm getting closer and closer to what I want to do. Now, why would that be a healthy thing to do when you're in the process of trying to attain some kind of goal? Because can you see how if you were to compare yourself to, like, let's say Bill Gates, who's got billions and billions of dollars, and you don't have billions and billions of dollars, you could be like, wow, I'm a failure. I'm such a loser. Or you could grow up, always comparing yourself to the next door neighbor who's got more things than you, and that can make you feel bad. And so when you're focused on success in that way, it's kind of always just keeping you stuck. Does that make sense to everybody so far? Right?
Yes.
Like, finding success as some kind of particular object or experience or something that you're trying to get, and then you compare yourself to other people, you can constantly be just like stuck on that. So it makes sense to rather look at it as, okay, am I getting closer to my goal? I mean, doesn't that seem like a more effective functional definition of that word? How can success be something that you've attained? It doesn't make sense. Because reality is, if someone's saying, well, success is, if I have $1 million in my bank account, why do they want that $1 million? Like, there's some idea that they have. It's like an image or a picture inside of them that has certain feelings and emotions and certain beliefs that if I have that, then I'll be happy or whatever the thing is. And so they're trying to get that thing. And so they're defining that as success. Okay. But what is success? Like, let me ask y'all. I want you to answer the question self-honestly. Okay. Who can give me an answer for how they have defined success within themselves?
I can do it.
Sure.
So, like for me, the bigger picture is always like what is in the best interest of all.
Mhm.
So everything that is a success for me is something that move myself toward that direction.
What was
So,
it before, though?
oh, before
Yeah.
before I was in that group, for example.
Yeah.
It was totally fucked up. I'm kidding. But
What?
no, my definition of success was not clear before I was in that group.
What was it based on?
What was based on?
Mhm.
Before it was based more on self-interest, but also I was just so confused. So it's
Yeah.
more like when I
You
get
made it clear.
clarity,
Yeah.
my definition of success become more clearer.
Yeah, because I always used to base it on having something, And the interesting thing is, I don't think there's actually that many people in the world who actually care about being successful. In the sense of the way we define successful. Let me give you an example. A successful person. The guy who's a vice president of his company has, 3 beautiful children and a big house with a Mercedes. Wouldn't you agree most people would say, wow, that guy's successful?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
But you see how that's, and that makes sense. We could see everybody would probably define, I'm not saying all of you necessarily agree with that definition, but we can I think we can safely say that many people would be like, yeah, that guy's successful. Versus this guy's homeless, fathered 3 children, is not married, doesn't take care of his kids, and just does drugs all day. Is that guy successful?
Oh, for sure. Just kidding. No.
Okay, according to Drake. But you see what I mean? Like in society, we would say, oh, that guy is not a success. He's a loser. Versus this other guy is successful. Right? But it's just like this static image. You've taken certain qualities from that person. You said they're successful. But successful at what? Okay? Like, for example, let's say I'm playing a video game and I complete the level. Was I successful?
Yes.
So you see, like, why have we taken this word success or successful and turned it into a life purpose? Like, my purpose in life is to be successful. At what? I could be successful at jerking off to porn. Do you know what I mean? Like, success in itself just means, okay, you've completed the thing you were trying to get to, or if you are successful, then what they're saying in your wish is your command is that you're doing the right things, you're on the right track, you're eventually going to attain your goal if you keep going in that direction. You know, it's like if I wanted to plant a garden, but I just start by pouring a bunch of concrete, I'm probably not on the path to success. You see what I mean? Versus if I dig a hole and I start putting soil and I start fertilizing, okay, I'm being successful within that. Does that make sense? Now, it doesn't guarantee I'm going to get to the goal because I still have to know what kind of plants to plant, what's the season. You know, there's a lot of details in there. But if I start by just building a pool, that's clearly not going to be successful, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So what the fuck does successful mean? You can define being successful however you want. There is no definition. The words only have definitions according to what we've all agreed upon. They're not actually the real definitions of the words. They're just what we have agreed upon. So as a collective, as society, we have generally agreed going to college, getting a good job that allows you to pay your mortgage and have kids and put them in school, and you don't have any debt or whatever the thing is, and you have a nice car, like that's successful, right? So it's like an image with little details, and then we associate that word successful with that. Okay? But now there's like a whole generation of people who are like, no, successful is, being an Instagram model and having all these followers and, being on a yacht and being at the beach every day and, having attractive women around me and doing all this stuff. Okay, that's successful. Like they don't care about that, white picket fence image anymore. They've just changed it to a different image. Or somebody who's like into sports might see Michael Jordan as successful. Successful at what? So I guess my question is for yourself, like, look at it. What do you want to be successful at? And if you're saying, I want to be successful at making a lot of money. Okay, why? So in other words, if your goal is, I just want to make a lot of money, right? Okay. So why don't you just become a drug dealer? You can make a lot of money doing that. Why don't you just become some guy who traffics, young girls in a sex trade? You could make a lot of money doing that. Does it matter how you make money? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, that's for you to decide, right? So you could say, well, I'm not going to do those bad things. I don't want to hurt people, right?
Yeah.
But did you know that the way the money system is set up, it creates poverty in some places?
Yeah.
It's designed in a way that it creates mostly poverty and inequality and only wealth for a few. So if you say your goal of what you want to be successful at is just making a lot of money, what you're basically saying is, I just want to abuse people. And it's a means to an end. And so someday I'm going to have some amount of money in my bank account, and I'm going to reflect on that and feel really accomplished. I'm going to feel successful. Okay. So what? Why is that impressive to you? Why does that matter? Is it possible that we all care about making a lot of money and have all these nice things just because we're comparing ourselves to somebody else that has it, and we feel like we want to be like them, and we're not good enough if we don't have those things? So I can't say I agree. If I said that success is comparing yourself to other people, I disavow myself. Okay. There was probably more context to it, and I'd be happy to clarify whatever I said in that video that made you think, Ben, that that's what I was saying. So I have to go back and look at it, and maybe there was more context, or maybe there was context in my head that I wasn't sharing that made it seem a certain way. But let's say we say, okay, we're not going to accept that definition of success for ourselves. My definition of success is what I can do, or what I am doing compared to what I could do. Problem is, you can still, within that, be comparing yourself to other people. And here's how. Why do you want the things that you want? So let's say I'm like, I want a Ferrari. Okay. I'm no longer comparing myself to anybody else who has Ferraris. I'm just looking at how on track I am to getting that Ferrari compared to where I should be, or where I could be. So now I'm either successful or not compared to that specific individual point. Does that make sense?
Yep.
But I haven't actually really challenged the original definition, have I?
No.
Why do I want the Ferrari?
Because you have seen it. You have been through marketing, or you have seen other people owning one.
Right. And there's something I think I'm going to get based on that. So I haven't really challenged at any level my definition of success. Because success in itself shouldn't be a goal. You can disagree with me, but like, I want to be successful. That's like saying I want to be warm. Do you always want to be warm? I mean, do you know what I mean? Like, I want to be like in some particular state. When I say state, I don't mean I mean a condition, like a state of being. Okay, and then you just want to be like that forever and just be static and you're done. Being successful is just it's like actually a very mundane technical thing. It's like saying I want to be walking. Okay, I mean, are you trying to get somewhere? Why do you want to walk? Why do you want to be successful? What is it you want to be successful at, and why? Do you see what I'm getting at? It's like questioning your own starting point as to why you're doing something. And, this group we have here is not, for those of you who are in Gen, this is not Gen. I mean, I'm not saying it's anti-Gen or anything. Most of us are in Gen. I am. Been in Gen since 2013. But this goes beyond that.
What's up, guys? It's Eric.
Hey, Eric.
Hey, guys. I'm stopping in for a quick second because these calls cost me like an hour and a leg, but I'll be here for like 5 or 10.
Okay.
Sweet.
I don't know if I'm making myself clear. I'm just trying to really challenge a point within everybody. I mean, it may not exist in some of you.
That's great. This is really good.
But what's your perspective, Asif? Can you expand on what I'm saying, or at least maybe give your perspective?
One, it's had a little more to do with the beginning when the conversation started, but one of the things that I was talking with people
Can you
about.
come closer to your mic?
Yes.
It's hard to hear you.
A lot of reverb or
How's
something.
it?
That was really bad.
How about now?
A little better.
How about now?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, I got a pillow on my head. Apparently that helps. So one of the things that I've discussed with other people, and I keep it brief, but people are talking about how it's like about finding what you want to do, but really and truly in this world, Everybody's trying to make money. Whatever they want to do to be successful, they want to find their own how to make money. But one guy was talking about being a programmer or an engineer, or you're doing this or that. But really, this world only really values a very small skill set if you want to be really successful. So it's not you just do what you're good at, or you just try to find your own path. It's like no, it's a very defined path if you want to be successful. It wasn't like we're talking about this. I think we were at a clubhouse meeting on Sunday that we did virtually last Sunday. It was like someone was talking about Steve Jobs. Like we're talking about what it means to be creative.
Yo, Asif, you got to come closer to the mic. I don't think people can really understand.
Is this closer?
It's like going in and out. It's kind of
It's
weird.
like garbled. Yeah, something up with your.
This is whack. How about this? No?
Maybe.
Well, I appreciate you letting me know. Kian's gonna log in on his phone, and then I'll share through that.
Well,
Okay.
that's good now. I don't know what you did right there.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll just keep yelling. Is this good?
Yeah. Just yell.
Keep
The
yelling.
main thing, the main thing is that the skill set that is actually valued in this world is a very narrow skill set, and you won't be successful, quote unquote, in terms of even just the traditional way that people think about it, through just like financially specifically, through just doing whatever you're good at or whatever you like to do. It's not going to work because even that's predetermined. It's based off what you were exposed to as a child. But the bigger picture of it is, like this entire static image that we're trying to attain that's where everybody hits their midlife crisis. So when they get there and they're like, oh shit, like, okay, now I'm walking, or now I'm warm, or now I'm successful. Okay, now what? Because it's what we think the success will give us, and then it doesn't give us that because life still continues. So it's kind of a waste of what we thought it would get us feel.
There's a yeah, I appreciate you expanding on that, Asif. There's a point where it's like somebody might disagree with me. Okay, somebody might say, no, I think having X amount of money and a certain type of house and having a certain amount of personal freedom and these set of defined things, attainments, is what's important to that person. I can't say that is I'm not how can I put it? If a person decides that that's what's important to them, then that's what's important to them. But what if that person is actually limiting themselves from what they could be? So think of it more like this. If success is what you could be compared to what you are right now, or like what you could get to versus what you're currently doing, what would your experience of yourself be like if all of reality, every particle, every person was cooperating in a spirit of complete harmony? Doesn't mean everybody's doing exactly the same thing. It just means that imagine if just naturally, unconsciously, everything you did only improved everything for yourself and everybody else, and everybody had that same starting point. Can you imagine how much better your life could be, even beyond what is even possible as the ultimate success right now in the way things currently are?
I love that. Can I chime in for a sec? I
No.
was about to log off.
No.
No? Okay. Okay.
Does that make sense to everybody?
Yep. Yes.
Dude,
Yeah.
what I'm getting at is we think we know what we want, but it's based on an actual very limited conception of what's possible that we've been programmed with. So I'm not suggesting that everybody right now is going to agree with that. But what I'm interested in is finding those and surrounding myself with people who do agree with what I'm saying. Because imagine if you wanted to have the best possible world and reality for yourself. Can you imagine it couldn't be as good as it possibly could be if people were acting against you, or people were doing things that were not best for themselves or other people? Can you see how that could limit your experience? And it actually is limiting theirs, whether they realize it or not.
Yeah.
So if you within yourself realized, oh, reality could be better for myself and that person, if we all had the starting point of let's make reality better for all of us, rather than just trying to get whatever advantage and gain I can in a limited nature within as the way they are right now, which I didn't create, which were here when I got here. You see the difference in the starting point. It's like, okay, I'm here in this reality. Okay, here's the basic rules right now. Could they be changed? Yes. Could reality be better for everybody? Yes. But I don't really care about that. I'm just going to try to get the most I can for myself within what's possible in the current context of the rules. Can you see how that could be a limitation?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
And look at it from the perspective of delayed gratification. It's like if you really put the information and the principles, for example, within your wishes, your command, and so forth, to the test. And I think we mentioned this on the chat yesterday, Mitch and I. What is delayed gratification? Other than not trying to get the reward right now. And so if your goal is as success is, well, yes, I could try to improve this world, but I may not experience the benefit of that in this lifetime. So I'm just going to accept something a little bit less, and whatever this particular thing that seems attractive to me, I'm going to go for that. But what if when you get that, it's not good enough? By definition, it can't be, because you're not going to be the number one. You're not going to be better than Bill Gates. You're not going to be better than Warren Buffett. There's always going to be some one person better, because that's the nature of the rules of this game that we have accepted. That's not based on my belief in you personally. Like, I don't think you're capable. But in this game, there can only be one richest man in the world. It can't be all three of you. You see what I'm saying? Because as soon as there is three of them, two of them are going to get together to try to defeat the third one. And then they're thinking they can defeat each other. That's the nature of the game that we have accepted in this world. That's how money works. The rules of it, the laws, the nature of it is designed in a way that is not meant to be in any way supportive of the average person. It's not designed for the average person to be rich. This belief that money is an infinite renewable resource, only if you play by certain rules, which says most people have to be slaves. So it's not actually that way for everybody. So you have to delude yourself into thinking that by playing by those rules, everybody can do it, and they're just not doing it because why? They don't want it enough. They're focused on the wrong thing, whatever it is. Okay, let me ask you guys a question. Every single person on this planet, all 8 billion or 7 billion, whatever the fuck it is, if all 7 billion people focused with the right knowledge and the right way, could they all be billionaires?
Nope.
No.
Why not?
Because of the
That's what they
environment.
allow with the current rule.
The system is not built that way.
Okay, so let's expand on that for a moment. I'm going to go back to David real quick first, William. David, you said environment. What did you mean by that?
So let's say a person that is born in Africa and like a very horrible environment. Their parents have no money, they have no food. Like the kid born in that kind of environment could pray all day long, but never would never
let me
be a billionaire.
That's what I thought you meant. No, what I'm saying is, let's say even that kid got the right knowledge, the right education, and was focusing properly. I'm not trying to. It's not like a trick question. I'm saying if
I
all
think
7
so.
billion people on the planet all knew the secrets of how to make money.
Then easily, yeah.
I think they couldn't make the money, but they could be equally as abundant.
Like, let's say everybody on the planet studied how to invest in real estate and how to become a billionaire investing in real estate. How the fuck is everybody going to become a billionaire investing in real estate? Who's going to pay the fucking rent?
Yeah.
You understand?
It's
To
not
be
designed for it.
successful in real estate, you require other people who are not successful in real estate to pay you monthly because you own it and they don't. If everybody owned everything equally and had the best life, based on the current rules of the system, how would anybody make money? Like, if every person that worked at Tesla was Elon Musk, who would be the person in the factory putting the fucking cars together?
Robots.
Right? Who would be buying the cars?
Elon Musk.
Where would do you guys get where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm not trying to pretend like I have all of the understanding and everything, right? What I'm saying is,
So
if
are
you
you
just
saying there
look
needs
at
to be an imbalance?
according to the current rules of the system, I'm not saying according to the laws of reality this has to be the case. I'm just saying according to the current rules of the system we live in that we've agreed to, yes, there has to be imbalance.
Or another way of saying that is there has to be a balance between winners and losers. There has to be
Right.
the amount that is being won. There must be the equal amount of being lost.
Yeah. You know, and so what I'm saying is, like, everybody can't study Warren Buffett and invest like he does. Can you imagine every single person on the planet having the investing knowledge of Warren Buffett? Wouldn't it work out that everybody had an equal amount of money? And wouldn't it work, like, think about it. Doesn't Warren Buffett, isn't he in the position because he's better at investing than other people?
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm getting at? It's like if you're playing chess, but you have exactly the same thought process, knowledge, everything. You have exactly equally the same skills, same thoughts, same everything. There would never be a winner. Now, you might be thinking, okay, but at that level, we could all cooperate and we could do a lot of, that's exactly what I'm trying to say. That should be our starting point right now. Is like, but the problem is the rules of the system we live in are set up so that there has to be a winner, there has to be a loser. Think about it. Like, if you want something cheap, then that means that, let's say you want, like, whatever the product is, you want something cheap. Then the person making it can't be paid a lot, can they?
Nope.
So then if you want something cheap, you require a slave to make it. Now, you might say, well, we could have a robot. Someone mentioned that. I totally agree. We could have robots to create stuff. Can you conceive of a world where robots create everything, but also still no one gives a fuck about anybody, so people still starve?
Right.
Like right now, and Mitch made an excellent point on the video yesterday. We already have the infrastructure to get food and stuff to everybody on the planet. I mean, it's already there, or at least in the US. Let's just talk about the US only for a moment. Like, Amazon can deliver any product within a day. right? And I know right now it's not like that because of this pandemic thing, but that's just because I think people aren't going to the grocery store. They're ordering more stuff online. They didn't expect this much demand on the system. So now what's happening is they're probably working on expanding. I saw something, Amazon's hiring 100,000 new workers. So what does that mean? It means it ain't going to go back. But is Jeff Bezos suddenly going to turn on a switch that says, okay, everybody is always going to have enough to eat because we have the infrastructure?
No.
No.
So just because the technology is there doesn't mean anyone gives a fuck. Because we're still living in a competitive system. Do you think Jeff Bezos wants to be the richest man in the world?
Maybe.
Probably. I don't know, but probably. Do you guys think that Bill Gates is a humanitarian?
No.
Nope.
Or is he
Yeah,
just
really.
a guy who wants to be the richest fucking person on the planet?
Yeah.
The most powerful.
The most powerful, whatever the case may be. I don't know the guy. I'm not saying anything personal. I'm just saying someone in that position.
Yeah, they don't see value in like lower income people and stuff like that. So I mean, if they don't have the right mind frame, I can see why he doesn't really care, about them. Because if you're not even trying to help yourself, and I'm not saying that he's a horrible person or a good person, but I think it's the difference in how much you actually care about anything, because if lower income families only care about themselves, why would he care about them,
Right. See, exactly. That's a really good point, Rosenda. Like, we can't blame Bill Gates and be like, oh, he's the problem. He needs to change. No, we all need to change and actually fundamentally shift what we care about, because each one of us is like, oh, I just want to be successful. I just want to have money. I just want to have my life taken care of. But fuck everybody else. It's like we've bought into this fundamental assumption, the rules of the game, at such a deep level that these images pop up in us as to what's important to us. And we immediately go to it like a moth to a flame, instead of stopping and being like, wait a second, where is that image coming from? Why do I care about that? Why don't I care about everybody having what they need first? Why isn't that a goal that would make you feel good? Like, can you imagine how you'd feel walking into a Ferrari dealership with a briefcase full of cash and throwing it on the table and being like, give me the most expensive car you have here? And there's like a group of beautiful women sitting down, like, and they watch you come in and throw this briefcase full of cash, and they're like, give me the Ferrari. Can you imagine how you'd feel? Like, that would be so fucking cool.
Honestly, I
Okay.
feel like I'd want to throw up. If I'm really honest, I feel like I'd want to throw up if I did that. Just thinking about it. But so, like, we have this system that we're all like a part of. So, in order to change it, people need to listen to this perspective that we're putting forth. How do we get people to listen if we don't already have that Ferrari to show people that, listen, we have the success? And then once they get it, we can actually convince them. It seems like the only way to actually win the game and actually change the game is actually to be a winner in the game in the first place.
Yeah,
So it's
why
almost
are
like a catch-22.
yeah, why are you not a distributor yet for TechnoTutor?
Me?
Yes.
I'm working on a lot of stuff right now, man. I don't want to get too much into it, but
Right. You don't have to answer me right now. I'm just asking you to ask yourself, because that is the way. Make a lot of money.
Yeah.
Make a lot of money by supporting everybody to develop their vocabulary and their ability to process information to the point where they can understand what the fuck we're talking about.
Yeah, makes sense actually.
That is the point. Now, I'm not saying every single person has to become a distributor. But if you're like having that question within yourself, how can I make money but not compromise myself? That's the way. But you know what we're also going to need? Like people who are lawyers, people who want to be in politics, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can prepare yourself in many different ways. But the idea that you need to have the Ferrari, I mean, I'm not posting pictures of Ferraris. but some people listen to me. So perhaps that is a belief. And I know they say, who do you listen to? Okay, listen to me for a moment, guys. Do you know who listens to people who have Ferraris? Do you know?
Ferraris.
People who want Ferraris.
Not Warren Buffett.
Not Warren Buffett.
Not Warren Buffett.
I mean, also younger people would drive, So I mean, Eric has a good point. Like okay, like depending on what position you're in, because successful. Okay, I would say that Cameron is successful, right? But successful. I see the N word, the full. He's not really wanting anything, but I do see how you can influence people by having something that shows or whatever, right? But
there's nothing
at the
wrong
end of
with having those things per se,
right,
and they can be useful tools. But what I'm saying is, here's the trap. I got to go pursue those things first and get those things so people will listen to me. How do you get those things, guys?
Love it.
Huh?
Love this conversation. Yeah.
How do you get those things?
By getting people to listen to you.
By making a lot of money.
Starting point.
How do you make a lot of money?
What you want to do?
Just follow me for a second. I need a Ferrari before someone listens to me. Okay, so how do I get a Ferrari? I need to go do what?
Make some money.
Make money.
I need to go make some money. How do I make some money?
Sell something.
Okay, but I have to get
Provide
someone to
value.
listen to me then. Otherwise, why would they buy what I have? They're not going to listen to me. They don't want what I want. They don't want
Yes.
anything about me. I have to
Yes,
have a
it-
Ferrari first.
You have to demonstrate their value.
Does every person who works in a Ferrari dealership own a Ferrari?
No.
So why do people
No.
listen to them?
They want their product.
There's most people.
Do you see what I'm saying? How you can create within yourself this bullshit. And I'm not saying anyone's doing it deliberate.
Wow.
Why don't you just say the fucking truth and be persuasive and focus on that rather than, oh, I need to get a Ferrari. You're never going to have a Ferrari because you think having the Ferrari is what's going to get you the Ferrari.
Yeah.
Okay, I have
Like,
something else, but thank you, dude. That helps.
Does that make sense? Becoming
I've been holding
persuasive.
back this whole time.
Becoming persuasive. Because the guy who created Ferraris didn't have a Ferrari.
I have something to share about that.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead, William.
Like, guys, love you guys. I'll see you next couple weeks.
Eric.
I'm gonna log off. Thank you, dude.
Okay.
See ya, guys.
Go ahead, William.
Later.
It won't take time. It may not be the best example, but it may be. Hitler. He was an evil guy, but he was a nobody when he started. But yet, he convinced everyone. He had no money. He had nothing. What do you think?
Absolutely. This is my point. Become persuasive.
Creative. That makes sense, because the way I look at it, if I could just intervene real quick, is that
Yeah.
like you can either have a bunch, like you could use your Ferrari as a lead generating device, or you can just know the right words to say to persuade someone to not even need the Ferrari as a lead gen device, or
Right.
something that like because the end goal is attention, right? You want to garnish attention, and you can either do that by saving up $250,000 and investing in a Ferrari to accumulate that attention, or you can just figure out how to say the right words to the right person at the right time and get that same outcome, right?
Exactly. And now let me put it this way. You want to get the Ferrari. And who was that speaking, by the way, just now?
Oh, that was Calvin.
Cal, okay, that's what I thought. Thanks, Cal. So I'm not responding this to you, just to be clear. So let's just say you have somebody who wants the Ferrari, because if they have the Ferrari, then they can convince other people who want Ferraris to listen to them, right? Okay, so I get a Ferrari. Now other people who want Ferraris listen to me. So now they come to me. So what are they going to want to buy from? What do they want to get from me?
Maybe the information on how to get a Ferrari, or
Right.
how they, or on
Right. Exactly, right? Okay, so look at this, everybody. So does that person want to change the world?
Nope.
Fuck no.
No, not from the sound of it.
So am I just not wasting my fucking time?
Yep.
So now, but consider this. Am I saying don't get a Ferrari? No. I'm saying you need a business that generates money for you. With that money, you could buy, like Cal said, a lead generator like a Ferrari. Okay. But what do you do when you have no money to begin with?
You got to make the lead generator with your words, right?
Right. That's what you focus on. Is, okay, let me persuade the people that will listen to me right now. Like, let's just say hypothetically, and why am I talking about techno? That's my business. That's what I do. So let's say you're a techno-tutor distributor and you're like, I don't have a Ferrari right away. Okay, who's going to listen to me? Somebody who wants their kid to have a good education. Somebody who is having emotional problems and can't make their relationships work, or so fucked up from their childhood they can never sustain a relationship. Somebody who wants to make a difference in this world, always felt like they've wanted to make a difference, doesn't really care about having a Ferrari, but at the same time feels like, oh, if I had a Ferrari, people would at least listen to me, I could make a difference. But somebody who wants to make a difference, but it's like, I don't know how it's possible, because how can one person do anything? What you could do is you could walk this process that we're suggesting of increasing your ability to process information, do DIP like we've been talking about, join GIN, put all those points together, and remove from yourself any fear or limitation that you can't be the fucking president or prime minister of your country. Imagine all the people who want to make a difference, but could never conceive of themselves ever being in any position to actually make a difference. Versus all the people who were pre-programmed to be in that position who don't give a fuck. Somebody wanted to say something?
Oh, yeah, sorry. I just wanted to interject, and that brings up such a good point in my mind, is that, like, I read a book that was like called Breakthrough Advertising. It's like an advertising Bible that a lot of these internet marketers use and reference. But it just talks about like mass desire, and each one of us has desires within us at all times, and being able to identify those mass desires and play into those. Like, for example, like everyone has their own version of what a Ferrari is in their mind. Like, for example, some people want emotional stability. That's their Ferrari, right? And how can you use your messaging or form your messaging to give them that desire in your messaging, right? Because there's all sorts of different things that people want, but you're right, Cameron. Like, there's a lot of people that want to make an impact, that want to do these things, but they have no idea on how to get there. But how can we form our message, and how can we adjust our message to help them understand that what they're desiring is actually what's right in front of them?
Right. Thanks for sharing that, Cal. Now here's a point to consider, okay? Mass desire is important when you're mass marketing. When your focus is one-on-one, you just talk to the person. You find out very quickly what the fuck they want. So this is a mistake I see many people make. And for those of you who have read the book that Avery and I wrote, this is one of the reasons we wrote that book, was to break through this illusion within people. We all believe we need to get to 10,000 people or 15,000 people. Why? Because we've been taught that we have to sell things cheap, because that's what people want. So the only way you can sell things cheap is to do a lot of advertising, and it's just about numbers. Or, well, think about it. Are they trying to mass market private jets? When was the last time you saw advertising for one?
Never.
So if you want to make a good if you want to make a lot of money, you can sell 1 million things for $1, or you can sell, how many things would it take for you to sell to make $1 million if you only sold to 100 people?
10,000.
$10,000.
Yeah, 10,000.
And you'll make $1 million. So how much easier is it for you to identify the desires of 100 people versus 1 million people? Now, here's the bigger problem. Are there not already people who are marketing to people, masses of people, based on their desires? Is this not already happening?
Absolutely.
Indeed.
But when you want to market to people in a mass way, you have to dilute it so much that you just play to the really base instincts like sex. And And the way mass marketing works is you just making things look attractive. That's the real law of attraction. So you can't present something that really fucking matters to people in a mass way. You do it one by one. So what do you really need? If you want to get everybody in the world, you need a lot of people doing it rather than a lot of, like, do you see the difference? You need a lot of people behind the movement.
Absolutely.
But
no, that totally makes sense. And thank you, Cameron, for readjusting like what it like that frame for me, because it makes a whole bunch of sense, you know, because really to get to the root of the behaviors and the things that people need to actually achieve to change, that happens through a one-on-one conversation. You can't really get that through a mass marketing campaign. So I totally understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, 100%. But and not only that, like to even go further, once they have the product to help them do that, that's when the real process begins. It's like you can mass market a homeschooling system that's just a bunch of fucking books that teach a child about history and mathematics. But guess what? That child's never going to become educated. Because real education is a very individualized thing. Because you know what the elite are not doing for their kids? Giving them that shit. They're giving them one-on-one tutors. They probably each have like 5 or 6 or 8 tutors that travel with them. And they learn everything through that. You know, I've read about families that spend $125,000 per tutor per year.
Wow.
So you want the mass market, you're going to get the diluted thing, which, I mean, just look at it. What is mass marketed education? That's the school system, and everybody's stupid. But the whole school system is designed in a way that it makes it predictable how you'll respond based on information. Let me put it this way. Everybody here has heard of electrons, right? But you don't know what the fucking electron really is.
Exactly.
But I know if I make a news article talking about, and the article, you know, the scientists discovered, you know, electron transfer, blah, blah, blah. I know you're going to be like, oh, okay, yeah, scientists, electrons. Yeah, I remember that. And you just accept it. So it's like we can give people the illusion that they know about stuff. They're like, how can you not believe scientists? The science is already decided. It's already been determined. It's like science by nature, the scientific method is never set in stone. It's always evolving. So you can't say the science has determined the answer because science can only determine probabilities. You see what I mean? So people would actually argue that the scientists determined the answer to something, when by definition, science can never determine the actual answer. So do they really understand science? Or do they use it more like a way of authority to control people? Why am I really emphasizing this right now? Because each of you is here because of a one-on-one approach. And now you're seeing, even us just having this conversation, perhaps some of you are going, oh, wow, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I never thought about that. Or that gives me more insight into something. See how it's like how much effort is being required just right now to be able to kind of support each other to get to another level of understanding about something. So if we just go the route of let's just make a bunch of money and buy a bunch of really cool stuff and attract a bunch of people based on that, and then eventually at some point we'll get into the whole part about you need to change yourself and really care about what matters and all that stuff. Why don't we just start with that? And why don't we look for those who get it? And then they can look for another person. Let me do a quick exercise with you guys for those of you who can stick around for a minute. If you have, grab some paper. You can do it on your computer too or something if you need to.